Hi Leo, welcome to the Modern Spiritualist. My name is Raheem. Today I'm going to do the July 2020 general tarot reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So if you know your sun sign and it's Leo, you're in the right place. If you know your moon and your rising signs, make sure to look for those as well. I went ahead and did the spread already, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys and we'll get started. So I have 2 cards for each week of the month to get you through July. The first week of July we have the Adjustment card, which in a Rider-Waite deck, this would be like the Justice card. Clarifying that, we have the Seven of Pentacles. In the second week of July, we have the King of Cups, paired with the Five of Swords. In the third week, we have the Page of Cups, and that is paired with the Three of Cups. A lot of cups, you guys. And then in the fourth week, we have the Devil paired with the Fool, so a lot of major arcana as well. So you're moving a lot of energy this month. So let's go ahead and do this. So in the first week, we have the Adjustment card. The Adjustment card is all about balance, and balance is a flow. It's not like this rigid thing. Without imbalance, there wouldn't be balance, and so imbalance is a big part of finding balance, and it's kind of in that flow of losing balance, finding balance, losing balance, and finding it again, that actually indicates that we are in the flow of our lives and are in balance. So look for where you're not in balance, and don't bring judgment or self-critique or anything like that to the areas of your life that need improvement. Just note where they are, and then come up with a plan of action to help bring that into balance. So this is going to be all about awareness in this first week, looking for the areas in your life that are either overgrown or undergrown, and kind of closing those gaps. So try to look at this holistically if you can. Like if you were to look at all the areas of your life, like home and family, career, passion, spirituality, your emotional world, what you're learning, work, obviously money, anything like that, and then just kind of ask yourself, where in what areas am I satisfied and how satisfied? Where am I unsatisfied and what could I do to kind of bring that satisfaction? And if you start working on one area, the rest start to resolve because it's kind of like this whole web, right? That make up your energy. So when you start to apply yourself to something that isn't working, you'll start to notice that as something else comes into balance, it brings the other thing into balance, because where you're overgrown over here, you're usually undergrown over here. So it's kind of like a pendulum swing almost, or like a seesaw, I guess. So just be aware of that through imbalance, we find balance when we apply ourselves to what's not in balance and start to resolve that gap. And you'll see your life start to change. The Adjustment card is a big energy. It's kind of it's not a hard-hitting energy necessarily, but it's a more present energy, so it's something that you can work with for a long time, and see really prominent results from if you really apply yourself to it. And the Seven of Pentacles is just kind of, this is emphasizing to me the overgrown, undergrown portion of this. This is kind of showing, the picture is like a plant that's like overgrown, like you're not clipping the bushes, right? Or you're watering it too much and it's kind of like decaying or like stagnating in that way that like overwatered, plants kind of get, where it's like greasy and slimy or whatever. So that's kind of what you're looking at, is you're looking at this overgrown, untended plant. And so like keep in mind that just because you're watering something a lot doesn't mean it needs to be watered. So like don't over apply yourself to one thing to its own detriment. And then also don't neglect certain areas of your life. So focus on what's overgrown, clip those hedges, let go of things that you need to let go of. And I keep getting, I mean, this is an earth energy, but I keep getting this water imagery of, if you think of like stagnant pools, of like water that's just kind of like putrefying or whatever, it's not like the water itself that's inherently bad, right? It's just like the water is stagnant, so it's not doing so good, it's not very clean. So find like those stagnant pools within you and kind of introduce it back into the flow of the river, so you can clear that water away. And remember that all water eventually leads to the ocean one way or another, whether it's evaporation or something else. So be aware of your options because I think you have a lot of options, and make sure that you do the thing that feels right for you, and that's going to be different for everybody. So hold space for the fact that you don't have to look like whatever your process is for this, your rebalancing process. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It's what works best for you. So just keep that in mind. So in week 2, we have the King of Cups paired with the Five of Swords. So the King of Cups is all about somebody who's really empowered in their emotions. Oftentimes, people tend to fall on one side or the other, like they're either very repressive about their emotions and don't really give their emotions much life or expression, and then there's the other side of that where you kind of fall into overindulgence and your emotions are too loud and they're disruptive, and they're not well received, and things like that. So the King of Cups is it's like the center point. It's like being empowered in your emotions, letting them flow, expressing them in a healthy way when you need to, and then reflecting on them in a healthy way when you need to, and being discerning about the balance of that emotional flow, right? And remember that emotions are very, very, I mean, they're fluid. It's water. It's water represents the emotions in tarot, and so if you are stuck in an emotion and it's not moving, you're not in emotional flow. And if you're cycling in an emotion, one that does kind of have a flow, but it kind of rotates on itself and it doesn't release, then you're also not in the flow, which is kind of more like a river, right? So make note of what emotions are just cycling, because that's usually an overindulgence, and look for where things are stuck, because that's usually a repression. And you'll probably have both. Most people have both. Some people tend to preference one or the other, like in their full expression, but if you go into like the little miniatures, like if you're really isolating one emotion or one thing in your life that's giving you trouble, you'll find both. So do what you can to kind of get the river flowing again and release stagnant energy so that you can be like the King of Cups and embody that emotional intelligence, right? Where emotions are rich, but they're not disruptive. And the Five of Swords, going along with that, the Five of Swords is all about negative narratives, like negative self-talk, self-criticism. It can be fights either with others or in your own head. It could be both. And it being paired with the King of Cups, what I'm really seeing is, your thoughts are not your friends right now when it comes to, at least not all of them, when it comes to your emotional wellness, your emotional life, and your emotional health. And so make sure that your thoughts aren't the thing that's like trapping your emotions and keeping you stuck or keeping you cycling, because if you kind of have a repeating narrative, an example would be like, it could be something as simple as like, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, or like nobody likes me, or just like any kind of narrative that you run for yourself on a constant basis. It's first of all, the narrative isn't true. Second of all, that's what's trapping the real emotion, that is preventing a positive expression. So don't let your thoughts bully you this month. Make sure that you're really taking note of what your consistent negative self-narratives are, and then I would keep a journal. I'd keep a journal and I'd start writing them down. And that includes not even things that you immediately tell yourself, but like if you tell yourself that like somebody else in particular thinks that you're stupid, but they've like never said that to you, you're just kind of like interpreting that from their behavior or from something. I write that down too. Because unless, somebody has told you, even like recently and with full honesty to your face, I think you're stupid, which I highly doubt. Usually in that situation, it's usually somebody who's like super mad or somebody who like doesn't know you or like things like that. But, I know that Leos are very, 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 very sensitive to other people's, sensitive to what other people think. So, you can use that as an end too. If you're not often telling yourself that you think you're stupid, you may, or like something like that. I'm stupid. I'm whatever. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve. Any self-narrative you can think of that limits what you can do and how good you feel about yourself. Even if you're not necessarily saying that to yourself, if you project that on others a lot, like if you're worried about what other people think of you, that's also a great in, because it's still you doing it to yourself, even if it's via other people, but it's still like you doing it to yourself ultimately. So take note of that too if you have a tendency to do that rather than just tell yourself outright that you think you're stupid. Um, I keep using that example. What are some other examples? I guess you'll know. Yeah, I think that's all I have there. So in the third week, I kind of went off on a tangent there. In the third week, we have the Page of Cups paired with the Three of Cups. So 2 cup energies this week. So this really, I mean, the monthly theme here seems to be about your emotions. Um, so the Page of Cups, I get a feeling that there's a release here. I get the feeling that you're tackling some of these self-narratives. Um, because the Page of Cups is kind of like this, I feel this onslaught of like, of water energy, of just emotion, but it doesn't feel like it's bad. It just feels like a release, which is great. A release of tension. And with the page, it can be like information comes your way, or somebody comes your way and tells you something, or delivers some kind of message that helps you think about something differently. So it could be that, or it could just be an indication that you're kind of on a fresh new start in terms of your emotional world. Um, Something's really released in a way that helps you see things differently, and then you're just kind of on to the next shore. And the Three of Cups is kind of repeating that. It looks like you have something to celebrate, even if it's just like, oh, I feel a lot better. And with the Three of Cups, there's often some sort of celebration with other people. This is July, so I guess for some of you guys this will be your birthday, right? So make sure that you're celebrating how far you've come, especially if it's a birthday situation. Look at what you've done this year, the stuff that was really, really good, the stuff that was solid, and just congratulate yourself for what you've done for you, you know? And then the fourth week of July, we have the Devil paired with the Fool. So the Devil is kind of like the Five of Swords energy. They're a little bit close. Um, the Devil in particular, I'm getting that sense again of your feelings being trapped, or not even like your feelings, but uncomfortable feelings that are cycling or stagnating, keeping a part of you that you need for your full expression of yourself trapped. So it's like what uncomfortable emotions are a good indication of, um, is that wherever that energy is in your body, because emotional energy is an energy that's in your body. So it's kind of like the same nerve endings, the same neurons are like firing and firing and firing. That's repeating this pattern that is stuck somewhere in the past and not actually a part of your real present, right? But what those emotions are doing is that they are trapping or hiding or keeping from you a pure energy that is trying to get out, and that's what's making you feel uncomfortable, is like that desire to express and then feeling inhibited because the emotions are kind of clouding the true energy. um, and so that's what the Devil card is saying to me. It's saying that there's a part of you that you need that is being trapped by cycling or stagnant emotions. So if you can address where that's happening in your body, and you can contact me about this kind of thing, because I can teach you methods of how to address emotions that are trapped. Um, but yeah, I would look for where those really prominent emotions that seem to be cycling or stagnating, and then if you can interact with them and address what they're hiding, what they're trapping, what they need from you, what they're doing, then you can find that part of yourself that is desperately trying to express itself and can't because these emotions are in the way. Um, and the Fool, I mean, I get a sense again that you do that work, because the Fool is a new start. Um, the Fool is telling me that that part of you that you've recovered, that now gets to express itself fully because those emotions have been cleared away, um, will help set you off on a new path that you really want to walk. And I get the sense that it's this path towards your authenticity and towards your truth. It may not be like specifically, I mean, it could be, but it may not be specifically like career related or like family related or something like that that's physically in your life. It may just be like the way that you present yourself. Um, it looks like that's shifting for you, and you're able to present yourself kind of a little more clearly and fully. Um, and I mean, just think about the fact that, like, if you're in a good relationship with A, yourself, right? Five of Swords, clear the narratives. B, just your life in general. And C, death. You're in a better position to face your fears and then take healthy risks. And taking healthy risks is what moves you forward in your life. Otherwise, you just stay in the same place, right? So, this Fool energy is always comes with this like encouragement to take a new risk, and that could be something as simple as like asking someone that you like out on a date, because that person could become the person that you're married to, and you won't know it if you don't do it. But it's still a risk because you're still risking rejection to ask that person out. That's what the kind of risks I'm talking about is something that risks your heart, but something that you really want, right? Um, and the Fool reminds us that faith is free fall. It's free fall into the things that you desire and the natural course of your life. And it's those free falls, even though they're scary, that lead you to new relationships and new careers and new joys and new experiences and new wisdom. So give yourself permission to fall in love with the life that you've made, right? I mean, solar returns coming up. This is a great time to take stock of those things and then to get clear on your vision and figure out where you want to go next, right? So that's the path you guys are on. It doesn't look like it's going to be like a cakewalk, but these things wouldn't be coming up if you guys didn't have the strength, right, to deal with it. And they also wouldn't be coming up if there wasn't something amazing on the other side. So reflect this month. Give yourself all the comfort you need to do this work, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself, and you're not punishing yourself. You know what I mean? You're just kind of tackling the things that are there in your field anyway. And then celebrate the work that you do this month, for sure, and rest towards the end. So, I wish you guys so much good luck on this new start, and I hope you have a good birthday. If you want to schedule a private reading with me, I will leave my website in the description box, so you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, please like, comment with questions, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next month. Thanks. Bye.